Hello and welcome to my review of the Legiones Astartes Sky Hunter Squadron for Warhammer Horus Heresy from Games Workshop. In my unboxing a couple of weeks ago, this box set would cost you £37.50. It is now updated with the rest of the price increases to £40. So yep, £40 for 3 Space Marine jet bikes. You can have up to 10 in a unit, so if you wanted the 10, that's going to cost you £160 to get those. At that point you might as well have 2 units of 6 to use the other 2. The format of this video is as usual. We'll have a closer look at the miniatures, then I'll go through the spare parts and talk about the options. We'll go through some size comparisons, and then I will go through all of their rules found in both the Liber Astartes book and the Hereticus book. Let's have a look at the miniatures straight away. In one of the recent live streams I did build one of these. I just wanted to build one to show you the kit and how it went together. I will say I received these models later than expected. I think Games Workshop are having some stock issues and they're not being able to fulfill the release days to some of the retailers, so just bear that in mind. However, I still think it's worth the wait if it's going to save you, 20% off the models, especially even now that there's been a price increase. So let's have a little look at them. The box shows all 3 of them with heavy bolters. On the reverse, it shows them all 3 with heavy bolters again, but it does show the other 3 weapon options. So yes, that does mean that you're getting 12 different weapons in this set. You're getting 3 heavy bolters, 3 Volkite culverins, 3 multi-melters, 3 plasma cannons. They could have been quite stingy about the box set and had 3 heavy bolters and then 1 of each of those weapons. I'm so glad that they didn't do that. However, they have skipped on a couple of other weapon options, and we'll talk about those in a moment. So let's have a look at the miniatures. So this first one I've just built in the live stream, and he's on this flying stand. It's not the worst flying stand. I do think some of them are pretty bad, but this one, I guess over time that might wear out. It's a tight fit, and they usually are to start off with, but over time they do get loose. Just bear that in mind if you were after the same positions when you first got it. It does rotate a little bit in there, which is fine, but so you can go for a number of poses at the moment. What I've done is I've not glued or magnetized any of the weapons. This one's quite a tight fit, the other 2 are a bit loose. I think the plasmas are. It doesn't really matter which weapon, some are tighter than others, but you can easily magnetize, put a 1x1mm magnet there and the same in there. I'm going to do this at a later date, but for now the plasma at least fits in, and there's not really any need to magnetize that or glue it for me at the moment. But if you've got an army in mind, and a specific loadout, like for me, Dark Angels, I'm going to have as much plasma as possible, then you've always got the option of gluing. But because they've given you so many weapons, 4 different weapon options, you might as well make the most of it. The model itself wasn't too difficult to put together. There were more parts than I expected, which means that you're not going to build this kit very, very fast. They're using the Mark 6 powered armored Space Marines, which is great because it means you can swap the helmets and the shoulder pauldrons from any kind of Legion specific ones that are all out. All of the shoulder pads and heads are out at the moment, so feel free to customize your jet bikes to match with your Legion. These first 3 I haven't done that, but I may well do that in the future. I think the jet bikes look great. I've never had a resin jet bike. I've never been that tempted by the resin ones, more tempted by the resin tanks. One thing I will say is I would have preferred this front bit to be smooth and not have a hole in it. With the hole in it, you have to pick either the Aquila or the Eye of Horus symbol. So maybe next time, Games Workshop, you could just have that with like a plug somewhere to fill it, because I feel like you have to pick one or the other. You can't you know, take the symbol off for whatever reason and just have it as a jet bike. I mean, you know, if you took the symbol off, maybe change the weapon at the front, you could probably put a Imperial person on there and use it just as a freelance jet bike or something. But anyway, they've all got these chain swords that just glue onto the side. They don't glue on kind of flush, I'll have to say. It's almost like half of it isn't going to glue onto the edge of the jet bike. And the scabbard mounting points, there isn't a gap or a ridge so that they could mount on this lip. You also get these extra pouches and ammunition packages that just simply glue onto like these two studs. Again, there's no indents in the pouches, so that they kind of just rest on the top, which is a bit disappointing. This, I say Sergeant, I've given a chainsword. This leads me quite nicely into commenting about the weapons. So the box set includes 3 Volkite Serpentas, but only 1 hand flamer. Furthermore, it only contains 1 chainsword. No power fist, no lightning claw or power sword. However, you know, if you've picked up the set of Mark 6 Powered Armor Space Marines, there are probably a few melee weapons in there that you could attach to these. It's the same kind of arm chest mounting points that the others have, so you shouldn't really have any issues in customizing them. You also get a helmetless head with this kit, and even a helmet that just can attach to the side of the jet bike. I'll show you those in a moment. But that's the Sergeant, and then just for variation, the reason why I've put these different weapons on is just to show you them all. The emission is the multi-melter, so I'll just show you that now. So this is what it looks like with the multi-melter on. Pretty nice. This one with the Volkite Serpenta, I've given this guy. Maybe he's kind of banking like that. I do like the poses that you can put these in. There's quite a multitude of them. So yes, even if you were to get multiple boxes, you know, especially with the different weapons and things, you could kind of make them look a little bit different other than the jet bike itself. But even the jet bike itself, you could kind of glue certain things on, and Legion specific icons, things like that. So that's that jet bike, and that is the 3. So I think before the resin jet bikes singularly were about 30 odd pounds or so, maybe even 40. So it's nice that we've got a plastic kit where you're getting 3. So spare parts then. Well, I've shown you some of the weapons. Here are the rest of the weapons. So like I say, you get 3 of every type of weapon in the set, and the rules state that you can pick any of the weapons. So you can have a multitude of different weapons for the unit. You don't have to equip them all with the heavy bolters or plasmas if you don't want to. The one thing I would say, the one weapon I would have liked to have seen on these is las cannons. That would have been great. Yes, they've got plasma cannons. I can't see why they couldn't have like a missile launcher or las cannons on them instead. Maybe even heavy flamers, but that's my only gripe in the weapon loadouts. Then we've got all of these spare parts. So this is the helmetless head. It's quite cool, quite unique. Haven't seen his head before. He's got some kind of like lens, obviously no hair, and then this is the Mark 6 helmet, which is different than the others. It's got these vents or whatever on the cone. It's quite nice. You've also got a chainsword. These are pretty cool because they've got the, you know, handle and grip already in. You can attach these on the inside of vehicles, on the side of vehicles, whatever. If you've got like a despoiler squad or something, you could glue these onto a rhino or whatever. You've also got the Eye of Horus sort of symbol, 3 of those, and you've got the hand flamer only one though, unfortunately, and then a couple more Volkite Serpentas, which you could mix and match and put them in your different squads. You've also got a pouch. They give you a couple of Auspexes, maybe you could attach them onto the bikes, and you've got the different grips as well, and you've got the different jet bike grips and a couple of different arms. So yeah, not a huge amount of spare parts really. And also the thing about magnetising or not gluing the heavy weapons in is now you've got to keep track of where those weapon options are if you choose not to glue them or magnetise them. Okay, so let's go through some size comparisons. First comparison I'd like to make is just with a normal Mark 6 Space Marine. You'd expect them to be the same size, and they pretty much are. They just match up, so that's great. They're going to look fantastic along with your Mark 6s. I think Mark 6 was the obvious choice to put on these. It's a shame if you've got other legions that don't use Mark 6 as much, such as Death Guard or Dark Angels for me, although I think Mark 6s look alright on Dark Angels, because they are going to look a little bit out of place with the Mark 6 if the rest of your army has a specific kind of look. Another size comparison is with a Rhino. So just goes to show these jet bikes are almost the length of a Rhino, so they might be a bit bigger than you sort of expect. I think they are longer than the Custodes Ger Valken jet bikes, but not the resin ones. I think the resin ones are just a little bit longer. Then you've got a Contemptor Dreadnought right here. Gives you an idea. These things are taller than Contemptor. You've got a Predator, so taller than a Predator. And again, they're almost the same length as a Predator. And finally, the last comparison I'd like to make is with the Spartan. Just goes to show you how big one of the largest tanks are compared to it. But these flying about, 6 of them, definitely will make their presence known and take up a decent amount of space on the board as well, 6 of them. Another comparison I'd like to make is just with the 3 usual miniatures that I always like to compare them to, which is a Space Marine, Sly Marbo, and a Primaris. So it just gives you an idea where they are. Similar size to like a standard Space Marine, but Primaris is, yeah, good head and a bit taller than them. It's hard to sort of do a comparison though with these. I'm not sure whether you could modify these to be Primaris jet bikes, if you were interested in modifying them. Okay, so this is my part of the review where I will go through all of the rules for the Skyhunter Squadron. So you'll find them in your Legiones Astartes army book, either the Traitor one or the Loyalist one. They're in both, of course. They are a fast attack choice. There are a decent number of fast attack choices in the book. You've got your Saber tanks, you've got your Outriders, your Seekers, your Xiphon Interceptors, your Storm Eagles, and your Javelins. So the Skyhunter Squadron, they will cost you 105 points. Their stat line reads: they're a movement of 16 inches, weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4, strength 4 and toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative 4, 1 attack, leadership 7 and a save of 3+. Pretty straightforward. The movement 16 is nice, although I would have liked to have seen them with toughness 5, because the only upgrade they're kind of getting is just with that extra wound and that movement speed. That's it. The Skyhunter Sergeant has the same stat line but has 2 attacks and a leadership of 8. The unit composition is 2 Legion Skyhunters and 1 Legion Skyhunter Sergeant. The war gear: bolt pistol, chainsword, power armor, Legion, scimitar, jet bike. The unit type is cavalry anti-grav, and for the sergeant it's cavalry anti-grav character. Special rules: Legiones Astartes, relentless, firing protocols 2, hammer of wrath 1, hit and run, and deep strike. Options: a Legion Skyhunter Squadron may take up to 7 additional Legion Skyhunters at 30 points each. So you are saving some points by adding multiple to the same unit, and I'd strongly suggest you do that. They do have the heavy weapons on them, and they are going to be a target for your enemy. 1 Legion Skyhunter may take a Legion Vexilla, 10 points. 1 Legion Skyhunter may take a Nuncio Vox, 10 points. Fortunately, you don't get those in the box set. Any model in the unit may replace its Legion Scimitar's jet bike's heavy bolter with a Volkite Culverin, 5 points, multi-melter at 15 points, or a plasma cannon at 10 points. So yes, that means that right now that unit is costing me 135 points, plus the 5 points Volkite Serpenter, so 140 points. Speaking of which, you can replace the bolt pistols for Volkite Serpenters for 5 points, or the hand flamers for 2 points. The Sky Hunter Sergeant may exchange his chainsword for one of the following: a power weapon at 10 points, power fist at 20, and a lightning claw for 10 points. The Sergeant may also exchange his power armour for artificer armour at 10 points. So it's pretty straightforward, you know. You can give him a power fist, you can give him artificer armour just to make him more survivable, but you know, you're adding an extra 30 points there into one model that has the same number of wounds, the same toughness, and you could get an extra 2 wounds for those points, for those 30 points, in the form of a extra Legion Sky Hunter. Of course, the weapons that they're equipped with are pretty decent. You know, you've got everything from the plasma cannon, which is a nice 36-inch range, strength 7, AP 4, heavy 1, blast 3, breaching 4+, and gets hot. So that gives them the ones with the plasma cannons gives them an effective range of 52 inches, which is remarkable. And that's a similar kind of story for the heavy bolters, which are also 36-inch range, but they're strength 5, AP 4, heavy 4. So if you've got 3 of them, you know, you're going to be pumping out 12 shots. Very, very good if you've got Imperial. Of course, you've also got the Volkite Culverins, which are a whopping 45 inches, strength 5, AP 5, heavy 5 deflag rate. So you could be pumping out 15 shots from 61 inches away, which is pretty nice. Against a heavy support squad, for instance, that have las cannons. Just a thought there. And then, of course, the multi-melter, which is your typical 24-inch range, strength 8, AP 1, heavy 1, armor bane, melter, twin linked. So although you're only getting 1 shot, it's still got an effective range there with those jet bike movement speed of 16 inches of 40 inches with the multi-melters, which is very, very nice. So that's all I wanted to say about the Legion Sky Hunter Squadron. I think the miniatures are fantastic. I think the kit is pretty good, but I would have liked to have seen even more options than they're offering. Once again, it's a kind of plastic conversion of you know, resin kit that we've had before, much like the Spartan was and the Sicarans. Soon we're going to have the Typhon, and I can't wait to show you that and compare it to the resin kit. But what do you guys think of the Sky Hunter Squadron? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor protects.